Now, last night, I understand you went somewhere with Dottie, and how did that go? Tell me about that.
We had our agility class that we have every week, and like I said, she'd been shut down at the class since the training.
To a point where other people noticed it?
Oh, yeah, my whole class was like, what's wrong with Dottie? And so I'd have to tell them. And last night, she had the most fun she's ever had. She never put her tail down. She was happy. She was flying. She did all the obstacles perfect. And the thing that was really wild is the teeter-totter at the agility course is a hard thing for them to do. They're scared because it moves.
Sure.
She's always had a problem with it since I started 6 months ago. Well, last night, she did it 3 times perfect. like she'd been doing it all her life.
Awesome.
And everyone's like, my trainer, she goes, geez, what do you think about that teeter? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, because I didn't tell anybody what I had done. And then everybody, all my classmates, came up to me and said, Dottie's a different dog tonight. Every one of them noticed.
That is amazing.
She was so happy.
So the big thing now is, because we've been talking about the trauma for Dottie, we have to talk about
the good things.
The good things, exactly what you want her to do, and how happy she is, and how she makes everybody feel happy when she holds her tail up, and that she has the power to take action to protect herself. And that action, animals are action-oriented. So the action for her, if she gets scared, is to look to the right, look to the left. I told her to sniff a little bit and then either walk away or stretch. If a little pain came up in the body, to stretch her front legs, put her little butt up in the air, and stretch that tail out.
And that was the other weird thing when we came in the room after the session was done, because, you know, we had waited with Paula and Dottie, for Samantha to finish up with Bandit, and we didn't see that stretching movement. When we got in there with you guys, she was stretching and doing, and she was doing that. It was really, really bizarre.
I think we had 2 success stories.
I think we
did.
morning.
Samantha Khury, and you've got the one-day seminar that is coming up tomorrow. You can call us for the numbers on that. It's also on the website at www.my941.com. And you have a website also?
Yes, www.samanthakhury.com.
Khury.
We thank you so much. I got to tell you, I was at Doubting Thomas maybe a little bit a couple of days ago.
You were. I was a little nervous for a minute there having her come in, because I thought, oh no, you're such a pessimist and it's not going to work if you're a pessimist. But what do you think?
Totally convinced.
How would she know about Bandit's blankets being all over the house and that being Bandit's sleeping spots? We didn't know that. We never asked that. That's a personal thing. You don't ask where your pet sleeps.
Don't know what it is, but I know there is something to it. So the one-day seminar tomorrow, go to our website and check out all the information, and you will come away with something, I'm positive. I got Pink to you in my car earlier this morning, and I wanted to hear about Bandit the dog. Had a meeting, missed it. Can you please tell me what happened to Bandit?
It's a happy ending.
Bandit is not going to be put down. That was the big question from Cheryl.
And, just to recap real quick, Cheryl had Bandit. Cheryl getting ready to make a move. Bandit, a 16-year-old dog, been a loyal, faithful friend to her and her kids. And Bandit's got some physical problems, can't see very well, can't hear very well, or at least that's what she thought.
Right.
Has some tumors, has some hip problems. And she just wanted to know how much pain Bandit was in and if Bandit would make it through the move, and was it time to put Bandit down. Well, first thing Bandit tells Samantha Khury is, hey, I'm fine. You know what? I can hear, I can see, and I'm kind of a little worried. What are these people thinking here? I want to make this move, and gosh, if you want to get another dog, and I'll teach that dog the ropes at the house, let's do that.
Yeah. I get the feeling Bandit's like, hey, hang on a minute.
Yeah, whoa.
With the needle there.
So, Jeff is Cheryl's daughter, very attached to Bandit, as well as her other kids, and it was good news yesterday. Bandit is not ready to go, is not ready to be put down, so Bandit stays. They had a big Bandit party with a bunch of kids at the house last night, celebrating the fact that Bandit's going to be around, and they're going to get a new puppy, so Bandit can kind of mentor this new puppy on the household rules.
I love that story.
Isn't that great?
11 minutes after 9 o'clock, Dave Matthews Band next at My 94.1. Thank you for coming in today. She was so good, and we had just 2 great pet stories that turned out just awesome.
Yeah, we had the story of Bandit, the 16-year-old dog who was in a lot of pain, getting ready to go through a move with his owners. And then, of course, there was Dottie, who went through the rattlesnake training shock exercise and just hasn't been the same dog since, although I think that's changed now. 2 great endings to 2 really sad and horrible stories. And, we're going to post the synopsis on the website so you can kind of, read what happened and figure out what happened. But both stories turned out really well.
Also on the website, details on the one-day seminar that Samantha's going to be having tomorrow. And she told us if this goes pretty well, she might be coming down to San Diego more often, and we could do this again, because that would be fun.
Right. So if you have a specific problem with your pet that you would like Samantha to focus on and maybe help you guys through, consider the one-day problem-solving workshop. Just go to our website, www.my941.com. Click on My Morning Stuff, and you'll see the numbers listed there.
All right, well...
The front foot.
Yes.
A little while back, I heard in the news that they were going to look for something under there.
Well, we've been talking about that.
We've been talking about this.
It is, of course, the big controversy, and it's going to be, I guess, the big point of discussion on this cruise. Now, I am going to try and moderate, so I did not try and get too confrontational with you this morning, Doctor, but I am looking forward to moderating a very controversial time indeed, and I hope that nobody gets thrown into the sea.
No, I believe it's going to be very interesting, but the most important thing that the truth, at least the people who will attend the conference, will hear my side, and they will see most of, or all, I can't really talk about all the discovery that I made at Giza, but I mean the interesting stuff that I found that can help them in understanding more about the Giza Plateau. And we hope, as I said from the beginning, that next year we hope that to make this debate in Egypt, and people that can come by and see the pyramids and the Sphinx and the excavations.
Well, I would love to come back to Egypt, of course. So maybe we will do exactly that. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to what is going to occur in May, with some trepidation, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, Doctor, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Having you on tonight, and I wish you a safe
good
trip.
night for everyone, or good morning for everyone.
Yes. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay.
See you in May, my friend.
Okay.
Take
Goodbye.
care. All right, that is Dr. Zahi Hawass, the Director of Antiquities at Giza. Now, if you would like to come to this incredible debate, which will have not only Dr. Hawass, but in a way, ganging up on him, Danyan Brinkley, Graham Hancock, Robert Ball, Dr. Ed Krupp, and then myself trying to moderate all of this. They may get sick of that and toss me into the sea. You never know. We'd love to have you come along. Again, the number to call between 9 in the morning and 6 in the evening is 1-800-888-5509. 1-800-888-5509. If you're in California, you must call area code 310-568-0138. I repeat, area code 310-568-0138. All right, folks. I am sick as a dog. I have a dog named Giza, by the way. So I'm going to retreat to my sick bed. But I did want to get in here and do this interview, and so it has been done. Thank you all very much, and pray for me. I have the flu. Night all. William Buhlman. Hi, William.
Hi, Art. It's a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. So you're in Maryland, huh?
Yeah, I'm visiting some relatives.
Okay. Holiday stuff?
Yeah.
So we dragged you away from your holiday stuff to be a guest. That's cool. When you travel, it suggests here you do a lot of traveling. When you lecture, you do that in the physical, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. All of this began on my program long time ago And I never even heard of an out-of-body experience. I never even heard of it. Well, I remember vaguely some stuff from Shirley MacLaine, Out on a Limb, that sort of thing. And then that's all I ever really knew about it. And it seemed pretty strange at the time. Then, one night on this program, Coast to Coast, I got a call from somebody who said, "Hey, Art, you know, in the middle of the night, I get this really strange humming, buzzing, paralyzing feeling that sets over me to the point where I can't even move a muscle of my body. I'm literally paralyzed." And I thought, oh, interesting call. And, you know, I mentioned offhand, hey, anybody else out there have anything like that happen? Well, the phones lit up, and I couldn't stop it for 3 days. The number of people who were calling in and saying they had had an experience like this. Well, come to think of it, I have too. But I have never let it go. Now, that began an odyssey of an investigation into out-of-body experiences, and I guess it's a good place to start. Trust me, a lot of people have had these middle-of-the-night, paralyzing, terrifying experiences. What is happening to them?
Well, you're absolutely right. This experience is universal. It's very, very common. Unfortunately, in our society, very few people know what's happening. That's why I've been doing a extensive survey on my website. Based on thousands and thousands of reports that I've received from all over the world and in my own experience, what I have called this is a vibrational state. Before an out-of-body experience, what typically happens is that people have certain phenomena associated with it. And the three most common are a buzzing, humming, and roaring sound.
Yep.
Sleep paralysis, which people find absolutely terrifying.
Yes, I do. It scares us. That's the one thing, it's happened to me. The buzzing and the paralysis, and I'm going to be honest with you, Bill, it scared the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so much so that I jerked myself out of it and in total fright.
It happens to so many people all around the world. It happened, when it first happened to me, it scared me. Unfortunately, our fear is a result of a lack of knowledge because we feel out of control. Suddenly we have no control over what we perceive to be our physical body.
That's right.
And we feel trapped, we feel just absolutely lost, and of course then terror takes over.
Oh, yes.
What this is the immediate prelude to an out-of-body experience. It's the phasing out of consciousness from the physical to our higher vibratory self, or our higher vibratory body, what some people refer to as our astral body. Of course, I don't use that term much, but in reality, it's the same thing. The other phenomena...
Is that our soul?
No. Our soul is a much higher vibration.
Okay. Our astral body, then, is not our soul.
No, many people think it is, but we are multidimensional, just as the universe is multidimensional. And the astral body is our next vibratory body, our next higher vibratory body. Our soul is at a much higher vibration rate than the astral body. Yeah, it opens up a lot of doors that a lot of people have been unaware of up to now. You know, the phenomena that you just talked about, there's other things that are associated with it. The other one is a high energy sensation, just so that your listeners will know, because I think once they're aware of this, I have a feeling your phones are going to go crazy. The other one is hearing voices. In the middle of the night, you may be absolutely paralyzed, or you hear a strange noise, and then suddenly you may hear a voice. Often it could be your own voice being called. On my website...
Well, I can imagine, Bill, everybody would react to that in a different way. If you heard a voice in a paralyzed state, and you were a devout Catholic, you might assume you're hearing God.
Absolutely. Many people do. Or whatever icon your religious beliefs are going to bring forth. If you're a Muslim, you would think of possibly you're being spoken to by Muhammad.
Right.
And, of course, that's exactly what people report. Depends on your conditioning. what I have found, what I try to do is to approach this topic from as scientifically as possible, at least objective as possible. I don't try to slant it in a religious context, because I think that's one of the fallacies that's been done for 2,000 years now. Because saints, prophets have been having out-of-body experiences from the beginning of time. The Bible, the Quran, and Indian texts are filled with out-of-body experiences, profound experiences,
yes,
which not only impacted but actually created some of the modern religions. But they've been interpreted in a religious context instead of in a, let's just say, a non-biased context.
You've tried for the non-biased.
As much as possible. I mean, no one can be completely non-biased because, of course, we're brought up with our own beliefs.
Okay, well then, an objective person is going to immediately ask you, look, how can you prove that you were out of body? Fine, you were lying in bed, you had this experience, you feel you left your body, you went either to another location on this earth or in this astral plane, and we'll talk more about, for lack of a better phrase, the astral plane. How can you prove that you really did this? If, in fact, you, in this time, and I understand, do you believe, William, that you can travel not just in the present time frame, but in the past or in the future in this method?
Yes, you can.
Uh-huh. All right. Let's just, for the moment, deal with the present. It would seem to me that if you are able to travel outside your body, that you could provide proof, that you could say, I saw the following while I was in Paris, France last night, and describe whatever. And then that could be checked out, and this could all be scientifically established as a real phenomenon.
That's been done many times, Art.
Give me some examples.
Well, I have received hundreds of letters over the years of people that have said that they've went to another location and have seen, observed, and recorded some event that may have occurred. And then they have went on to confirm that for themselves, either by calling that person or by doing their own check. I like to point out also that the government has been involved in research regarding this for over 2 decades.
Really?
It's been conducted at Fort Meade in Maryland.
Really?
So this is, of course, it's not this is not the kind of information that the government likes to bring forth necessarily.
How do you know that's true?
Just from, I just know from information I've received from some extremely good sources.
Well, I will say, all right, let's back up a little bit. You know what remote viewing is?
Right. Which, by the way, remote viewing is a form of out-of-body.
No, that's what I was going to ask, because I am very much aware that our government spent $20 million over 20 years with a scientific remote viewing program.
Right. And
I've interviewed many members of that team, so there's no question about that. And so my question was, indeed, remote viewers are traveling in the same realm, which we will call the astral plane, as anybody can in this out-of-body business. Is that right?
Right. Remote viewing is a term that's been developed to a large extent because it was a little more acceptable. A lot of people found the old term astral projection to be a little strange.
A little new agey.
Yeah.
You know, and remote viewing, of course, is validated because there was so much science involved. They actually verified, somebody sees a gas canister, and they verify, I'll be damned if there isn't that exact gas canister over in Iraq as was drawn.
Right.
You know, they were able to prove it.
Absolutely. It's one and the same. Now, there is a slight difference. It depends on the person that's having the remote viewing experience. Some of the people have what I would call a psychic projection or a mental projection, where they don't necessarily have that sense of separation, because there are degrees it's difficult to explain, but an out-of-body experience is not just one type of experience. Because the universe is multidimensional, when you have an out-of-body experience, what you experience is different, sometimes from one day to the next, because of the vibration, because of the energy body that you may be perceiving through. So there are different levels of perception. But no matter what the semantics are, out-of-body experiences and remote viewing are the same basic event occurring.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people that were part of the government program, by the way, that was conducted in Maryland, some of them have what I would call to be more an out-of-body. They had their own perception of leaving their body, where others never get that perception. It's strictly a mental picture. They go into a trance-like state.
Yes.
And they suddenly can see an environment like Iraq, which has been proven, where they did that investigation into the gas canisters that were used against American troops. And the remote viewers accurately described the canisters, their location, everything. And this has been confirmed.
I know.
The government didn't spend $20 million in 20 years on a program that wasn't working. But the general public still doesn't know much about it.
Everybody can do this. Is that right?
Everybody has the innate ability to explore beyond their physical limits, yes. Absolutely. And it's very natural. I like to emphasize to your audience that, we are spiritual beings. We are not physical beings. This is a temporary, in a sense, vehicle we're using for expression in a very dense environment. And it's only natural, when you think about it, that we should have the God-given ability to be able to experience and explore beyond these dense physical limits. Because that's what we truly are. When people have out-of-body experiences, it's not bizarre. They're only experiencing what their true self really is.
Mm-hmm.
What I find strange is the idea that people have trapped themselves in a temporary vehicle of consciousness for 70 years. Because that's what they've done. Due to their own limitations, due to their own walls that they've placed around themselves, they have condemned themselves to experience only their physical body.
I would think, do you know, Bill, I've got a lot of guys who listen to me in the joint. Prison.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean a lot of them. From death row, I get letters all the time. From people in prison for many years, life, some of them 20 years, 30 years, long time. I would think that that particular population would be most particularly interested.
They would be naturals. Anybody in prison naturally would have a strong motivation to escape those walls. And for those listeners right now that are out there in prisons, I strongly recommend they try this, because it gives them an opportunity to literally go beyond their confining limits.
And
in full awareness.
And no guard is going to catch them.
That's right. And believe me, it's done. I have received letters.
All right, Bill, hold on. We're at the bottom of the hour. 101 on traveling outside the body coming up. This is something I thought you might want to add to your strange phenomena file. Big one it's getting to be, too. About 10 years ago, I was in the U.S. Navy, stationed at Naval Air Facility at Sugi, Japan. On our base, we indeed had a strange phenomena growing on our airfield. It was a tree. During my orientation of the base, I was shown different areas of the base. The one thing pointed out to me was a strange tree growing right in the middle of the north end of the airfield. It was a conifer-type tree. On top of it was a clearance light put there by the Navy. Apparently, when the U.S. took over the base after World War II, they had noticed their tree there and attempted to cut it down because it was a nuisance and a hazard, obviously, growing there in the middle of the two flight lines. The men who attempted to cut it down died while trying to do the deed. Many times the attempt was made to cut the tree down, and those involved died of a number of causes without bringing down the tree. Some say it's a sacred tree, others say it's cursed. But to sum up, people die trying to cut it down. So, the Navy decided to leave it there, after trying everything possible, including bulldozers, dynamite, chainsaws, and more. The Navy put up a barbed wire fence around it and made it an offense to be near it unless authorized by the commanding officer of that base. Anyway, I thought this might be interesting to you if you should ever visit Japan again. You will probably still see the weird in the middle of that airstrip with its red clearance light on top. Take care. Enjoy both of your shows as well as your newsletter. That's from Rich Brown in Ellsworth, Kansas. Thank you, Rich. If anybody out there can substantiate that story, I'd like to hear more. Now, back to leaving your body. And William Buhlman, author of Adventures Beyond the Body. William, welcome back. Weird tree story, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
But no stranger than what we're talking about right now. You can leave your body. Let's do a little 101 for everybody. I have gone to that first stage, and I have always chickened out. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I've always chickened out. And you know what? I've done so many shows on it, I don't know, in the last year, that there have been a couple of times I've tried willfully to let it go, and there's no way. I'm such a control freak, there's no way. I can't do it. I can't do it, Bill.
Well, you're programming yourself right now.
I know, I suppose. Huh? It scares me.
It is scary. I don't sugarcoat the subject anywhere in my book. It scared me at first because I didn't know what was happening. There was no good information available. But with experience, you find out that it's a very natural, actually a very enjoyable experience. And just so that your audience knows, Art, a lot of people that are very well known are having these experiences.
Oh, I know.
On page 246, I have Michael Crichton's out-of-body experience in my book.
No, I really, really, really like Michael Crichton. In fact, Michael, I want to interview you. I got to interview Richard Preston the other day. That was a dream come true. Now I want Crichton. But Crichton actually did this, didn't he? What's in your book about Michael Crichton?
Well, he did not have what you would call a positive relationship with his father throughout his life, and they had some conflict. And his father died, and he wanted to hopefully resolve this. So he had an out-of-body experience, which was self-initiated with a friend, and when he left his body, he actually went. When you're out of body, thoughts create your reality. Your movement, everything that occurs is a direct result of thought. It's your energy, it's your mobility, it's everything.
You are what you think. If you want to go skimming above the trees and fly